Enough with embrace debate. Pointless yelling at each other on ESPN and Fox, yet very little actual content. It's time for a change. A voice from the fan, for the fan. The most compelling topics in sports, all covered here. This is Corbet's Corner.
All right, welcome in. We hope you had a solid Memorial Day weekend. I'm Dylan Corbett writing solo on Corbett's Corner here for you, and we got an exciting week. We got Winging It coming out one day late. It'll be on Thursday because of Memorial Day. We're nursing the hangovers, etc. And we're going to get a return of core trades because AMC today up 100%, BlackBerry, Bed Bath & Beyond up 50%. Been insane. The meme stocks finally paying off. So we'll get you an episode of each this week as we get rocking and rolling again too. Happy June. So let's start. I'm just going to talk NBA and NHL as the playoffs heat up. We've got the Bucks and the Nets, the only two teams advancing so far in the NBA playoffs. We'll start there. NHL, obviously, they are into the divisional playoff there to see who's going to win their division. Then we'll have a Final Four after said round is already going on. So things heating up here in the summer. Baseball still starting to catch my eye. I saw a pretty awesome Yankees-Rays game last night where I watched, I had the over. So Clint Frazier's home run walk-off sealed it for me. But that was exciting. So baseball's starting to creep into my agenda, but I'm still taking a look at the standings, and it's just mush. It's just mush. Like if you aren't a fan of a team in the AL East or the NL West, I'm not into baseball yet. It's still the NL East is got a very peculiar run differential going on for all four teams. The Cubs and the Cardinals are just mushing each other at the top. Cardinals aren't playing, I think, that well, even though they do have a positive 500 record. And then the A's and the Astros kind of going at it. And the AL Central, the Twins have been a disaster. So no one's really, it's been tough go around here. But we'll stick with the NBA. So Bucks over to Heat. If you remember Corbett's Corner, it was either last week, 2 weeks ago. I said I've got Lakers, 76ers over the Lakers in the finals. That's my prediction. How's it looking? Well, the 76ers was looking great. Now you've got torn or slightly torn meniscus for Joel Embiid. 3-1 game 5 is tonight against the Wizards. A lot of people give Russell Westbrook a lot more credit than he's due. He's a stat patter. He's the most legendary stat patter ever. Great passer. His teammates give him rebounds so he could get triple doubles. And then he is very athletic. So he slashes and scores eventually, 20, sometimes 30 points per game. But he doesn't do it efficiently. So, again, that doesn't lead to winning success. He's never won a title for a reason. And the 8-seeded Wizards, I still don't think stand a chance even without the Joel Embiid-less 76ers. They've got a supporting squad now with Ben Simmons. That's still a solid team. Take Embiid off there and compare both rosters. The 76ers have a better overall squad. And take the coach a la Doc Rivers over Scott Brooks. That's a no-brainer all day. Daryl Morey. I trust him as a GM a lot more. So, again, I think it's going to be over tonight. In fact, I think the 76ers are going to cover the spread -6.5. But where I was completely wrong, obviously, I had 76ers beating the Miami Heat in the Eastern Conference Finals. Woof. Swept out of the playoffs from the Eastern Conference champs last year, the bubble. Now the bubble fraud narrative is all over the Heat. Pat Riley's all of a sudden getting fired. Jimmy Butler's no longer a great player. Interesting offseason coming up for the Miami Heat. They went from Eastern Conference champs, believing in Tyler Hero, believing in Duncan Robinson, holding on to those assets when they had the opportunity to get better and become maybe a Nets-like team by going and getting James Harden. They said they did not want to get rid of Hero, Duncan Robinson, and maybe, the Nets did eventually have a better offer because of the first-round picks, but they certainly missed an opportunity as Harden to Miami was a solid link. Another rumor that is floating around, certainly South Beach circles, is Kawhi Leonard, who wanted Jimmy Butler to play with him in L.A. Jimmy said, no, I'm going down to the Heat. I like the culture there, Heat culture, etc. So plan B, Kawhi gets Paul George. How's that going? Kawhi's contract's coming up here, and the narrative kind of in the underbelly of the NBA right now is that Kawhi Leonard might be going down to South Beach and teaming up with Jimmy Butler. So again, Miami, hopeless season this year. A lot of their young stars regressed. Does Kawhi still want to play with him? Jimmy Butler, he can't skate for this. He's the guy that at the end of the regular season, it was a disappointing regular season. They had COVID. obviously, and that hurt their seeding to where they're facing the Bucks in the first round instead of maybe the Hawks or the Knicks in that 4-5 matchup, and they get swept. Credit the Bucks. I did not give Drew Holiday the acquisition enough credit. That is loads better offensively and defensively at the guard position and say Eric Bledsoe and even Malcolm Brogdon, who I thought they were, silly for letting walk. And now in hindsight, they made the better move by upgrading to Drew Holiday. So the Bucks are scary. But again, just so the Heat, their offseason ahead, what's going to happen there? Jimmy Butler's due up for an extension. Are you going to pay him upwards of $50 million into his 36 age season, right? Or are you going to let him walk? What's going to happen there? Again, the NBA offseason is one of the craziest things to follow, and the Heat are getting there early after they get swept. Okay, the Nets. I said the Celtics were going to give them a little bit of trouble. Is that right? I mean, they took a game. The Celtics are not good, and I'm going to make the case for you. So, I said the Heat in the Eastern Conference Finals, but I also had the caveat, whoever wins that series is going to take out the Nets. I'm still sticking behind that. I've got the Nets going down to the Bucks. This could go 7 games. I mean, this is going to be a hell of a series. People are going to watch this. Giannis has been to this point before. When's he going to take the leap? When's he going to get to Eastern Conference Finals? He's racking up the MVP hardwares. He's the defensive player of the year. He's a freak. He shut down a decent Miami team, swept them. He said, we're not going to play with our food. We just eat it. That's scary. This Bucks team is scary. Nets, take care of the Celtics. That's all fun and well. But here's why I think the Bucks are going to take care of them, because the Nets don't play defense. The Celtics are not good, and they did not have Jaylen Brown, which made them worse. So basically the Nets allowed here. So their point differential against the Celtics team was plus 12, which is scary because the Nets are one of the best offensive teams we've ever seen, right? Don't count out the Bucks. So the Nets scored 123 points per game in that 5-game series. They took care of the Celtics. The Bucks scored 118. Okay, so the Nets are going to outscore the Bucks, right? That's what a lot of people back in the Nets thinking they're the favorites. Well, they are the outright favorites right now, but I think they're going down. We'll say, yeah, they're just going to outscore them. 2-1 series win for the Bucks against the Nets. So, okay, that's the regular season. They probably didn't have Durant, Harden, and Kyrie on the same. That's fine. But now you've got those three taking up space, not good defenders, going against Giannis, who can get his points. KD's not going to be able to guard him. What are you going to put DeAndre Jordan, Blake Griffin on him? It's very interesting how the Nets are going to try and attack stopping Giannis. And then is Drew Holiday going to be able to step up? Chris Middleton be able to step up and score points? Middleton, the king of the mid-range jumper in the playoffs. The Bucks made a really good, the Eastern Conference Finals champion from last year look like a middle school team. They were plus 20 in their point differential in their 4-game series. I think this is going 6 or 7. I've got the Bucks. I think the Nets are just, I don't know. They don't play defense. Maybe they didn't spend enough time on the court. 3 superstars. Yeah, they're going to get it done offensively, but what happens when Giannis makes a stop just because he's a 7-foot absolute freak, and then you're expected to make a stop on Giannis for the game? You're going to be able to do that as the Nets. You're going to put Harden on Middleton, and maybe he gets lost. I don't know. Again, I was wrong with the Heat picking them over the Bucks, but I just have a thing. I think the Nets are vulnerable, and I think the Bucks are going to get it done. 76ers with Embiid's injury. I think it's going to be easy. I think they get it done tonight. They get past the Wizards. Hawks, I told you, they were going to beat the Knicks. The Knicks were a fraud regular season team, much like a lot of Tom Thibodeau's teams in past. The Hawks are solid, right? When they fired Lloyd Pierce, they went 27-10. They were incredible. They're taking care of a decent defensive team in the Knicks. They're going to be facing a decent defensive team in the 76ers. And where's Joel Embiid going to be in that? I would sit Embiid, obviously, until he's rested and healthy and able to return. I would not play him in that series unless you're up against it, right? Can the Hawks do that? I think they can with Trae Young and their new coach once they got rid of, again, I think it's JB Bickerstaff, right? Who's a veteran coach in his own right. I think the Hawks are going to be able to scare the 76ers if Embiid is out for the majority of that series. I still think the 76ers are the best team in basketball in terms of overall roster, even all the way up to the front office. So it's going to be interesting. So again, last thing there is the Nets, their offense is, again, that's scary. What they did against the Celtics, a decent defensive team, as a team, they were 50 from the floor, 40 from beyond the arc, 90 from the 3-point line. in the 5-game series. That's insane. They also gave up 112 points per game and lost one to the Celtics. Bucks are a team that can make you pay. And in a series of 7 games, Nets will have home court advantage. But again, the city of New York doesn't even like the Nets. Bucks, they get up for their squad, right? That's a pretty daunting environment. They just signed their guy Giannis, locked him up long term, and they're looking to make a run here in the playoffs. So Bucks, Nets, that's going to be a series to keep an eye on. Let's take a look at the other side, the 1 seed in the West. Donovan Mitchell coming back. Utah lost that first game that he was out due to injury, and they have cruised since. So Utah, again, I called them a regular season fraud. After seeing what the Clippers are dealing with the Mavericks, that second round is going to be interesting. And yes, I'm sticking with Utah and the Clippers. I told you I was sticking with the Clippers after they're down 1-0. They lost game 2 because the Mavs shot 50% from deep back-to-back games. The Mavs are playing incredible. And the fact that the Clippers were able to come back 2-2, that says a lot about where they are. Again, they could have just wilted. They could have folded, gone to the offseason, maybe had Kawhi leave. Maybe you have to trade Paul George. But they rallied back, and at 2-2, I'm willing to confidently say I think they're going to move on. Clippers Jazz is going to be interesting. I think that matches up a lot better. But again, it's going to come down to final shot. Who do you trust with the ball more in final shot? I mean, don't get me wrong. Paul George isn't a great number 2 option, playoff P, but Kawhi, he's been there. He's won 2 Larry O'Briens. He's been a finals MVP. He had the last second winner when he was with Toronto that ended the 76ers season. I'm trusting Kawhi to get the job done over the Utah Jazz. Again, I think the Jazz are more like the Nuggets of last year. How about that series? Nuggets Blazers. I said it was a coin flip. Nuggets lead at 3-2 right now. Even one of the best playoff performances, Damian Lillard, you've ever seen in your life before. Somehow getting it to double OT and somehow not covering. That was a bad beat for a couple of big bettors who were on the Blazers. I think this is going to 7. I mean, Damian Lillard, he's been here before. He's never gotten to the Western Conference Finals, but he's won a bunch of playoff series. I think it's getting to 7. And again, remember, this is a Nuggets team that has got the MVP probably in Nikola Jokic, got probably a future MVP in Michael Porter Jr. also on that team, but they're without Jamal Murray, who had a season-ending injury. If this goes to 7, is Dame Lillard going to be able to propel him? I mean, that's interesting. And then what are they going to do? The winner, whoever it is, Nuggets or Blazers, what are they going to do against, is it the Suns? 3-2, LeBron. He's walking off the court last night, leaving early. What a bum. I mean, I'm a huge LeBron hater in terms of what he does on the court, off the court with his antics, right? I obviously love the off the court stuff that he does. This is a great benefit to society. And, speaking on things that are obviously of importance, but he also dodges other important things that he does whatever LeBron wants. And if LeBron wants to walk off the court and make a statement when his team is obviously way less talented, that he doesn't even deserve, he doesn't even think they deserve to be on the same floor as him. He walks off. Suns are good, 3-2. It's tough to ever count out LeBron. I mean, AD's out. That's tough. LeBron's playing with a bunch of scrubs. But did you see Chris Paul? What's his injury status? Is Devin Booker going to be able to do it all alone with DeAndre Ayton? That's an interesting series. And then keep an eye on what's going to happen. Is it Lakers-Nuggets rematch? Do the Blazers get a shot at the Lakers back-to-back years in terms of the playoffs? That was the big story of last night. LeBron's Lakers without AD getting smoked by the Suns. So 3-2 lead for the Phoenix Suns. Do the Lakers, the defending champs, get ousted in the first round of the NBA playoffs? It's been fun. I think this has been a year where it's not the Warriors, it's not the Lakers, it's not the Cavs. People have finally been excited where it's a wide open race. You're probably going to see somebody new at the top. I think that's been exciting. All right, let's talk some pucks. So the Stanley Cup playoffs. How about the Toronto Maple Leafs collapse? I mean, they were so injured. They were up 3-1 against the Canadiens, who had a negative goal differential this season. So again, that was 1 versus 4 seed. The Maple Leafs up 3-1. Should have got that done. You got Austin Matthews. Then they kept getting hurt. Tavares was out for the majority of that series, and they give it away. I mean, Carey Price, is it Casey? Carey Price, the veteran goaltender in Montreal's net. He was fantastic, and he rose to the occasion. So the Montreal Canadiens, the Habs, they stunned the Maple Leafs down 3-1. They win that series. Another stunnage that people may have forgotten about. Remember when the Jets swept Connor McDavid and the Oilers? So the Jets are sitting there rested, waiting. Game 1's tonight there. That's going to be interesting. Who's going to come out on top there? Maybe I think the Jets are favored, but I wouldn't count it past between Price getting hot, staying hot in the postseason, and maybe taking out the Jets. But they just had to go to a 7-game series. Jets are well rested after a 4-game sweep. Winner of that's going to have to go face either Colorado or Vegas. Now, I've said I'm been on Vegas. I think they're going to win the Stanley Cup. I also said whoever's going to win this series is eventually going to. And right now, the Avalanche have a 1-0 lead, and they look scary good. It was a throwaway game. They didn't put Fleury in goal. Vegas coming off a 7-game series. Again, Colorado coming off the sweep as they just disposed of the St. Louis Blues like a gnat during the summer. So they take game 1. Game 2 is tonight. I believe Fleury's back in goal. Can Vegas even up the series? I think this is potentially going 7. And I think the winner of that is going to cruise either past Montreal, either past Winnipeg. And then the other side, I mean, I've been all over. The Barstool is doing a great job with this Bruins-Islanders rivalry. Watch it. Playoff hockey is the best, man. Oh, my God. I could watch it all day. And fans getting up for it, just watching goal celebrations as it happens. The Islanders even up the series. That is a great matchup. I think both fan bases deserve a team to be in that Final Four. I think the Bruins eventually get it done, but hey, this is Barry Trotz, a coach that won it with the Capitals, came over to the Islanders, watched Tavares leave the Islanders and go to Toronto, and he has still had success with the Islanders. That is a fan base that has been starved for the glory days back in the early 90s hockey, and they might have a team. Tampa Bay, the defending champs, they're so damn good. They beat the Panthers. Panthers, a great regular season team, still can't get it done in the playoffs, a haunting franchise. Carolina, that's a scary team, and Tampa Bay is making them look asinine. So the key there, Kucherov, he was like not there the entire season, and then he comes back for the playoffs. He's well rested, the veteran. He's been crazy. How about Pat Maroon? He's going for his 3rd straight Stanley Cup. He won it with the Blues 2 years ago, the Lightning last year, and he's looking to repeat with the Lightning again this year. I think it's all setting up for Tampa Bay, Colorado. I think it's going to be, just look at what Colorado has. I think I got Colorado upsetting the defending champs, the Lightning, for Lord Stanley. I mean, here you go. You've got, obviously, Nathan MacKinnon, who's probably going to be the face of hockey if he's not already sneaking up there. We're in good hands right after Sidney Crosby and Ovechkin. We've got McDavid, we've got Matthews, we've got Sebastian Aho. A lot of young stars. McKinnon, Landeskog. How about Graves, Rantanen, Grubauer in between the pipes? That's just a dominant team. And on the other side, I think Tampa Bay, the return of Kucherov has just been absolutely key for the defending champs. So that's what I'm sticking with. I've got, I had Vegas. I'm going to amend that. I've got Tampa Bay and Colorado. Colorado taking out Tampa Bay as we approach the Final Four in the Stanley Cup playoffs. NBA, I'm still sticking with 76ers, Lakers. Let's see if they can get there. But again, the Lakers facing elimination. They will play for their playoff lives tomorrow. Got a full slate of NBA action tonight as Philly. I've got them taking out the Wizards even without Embiid tonight. Keep an eye on if the Knicks, I think they are returning to the Mecca. They're not ready to go home yet. Maybe the Knicks can survive in another game tonight. Utah, I think, is going to close it out against Memphis, but maybe it's going to be closer than the experts think. And we'll see who's going to take advantage here. Game 5 against the Clippers in Dallas tonight. So we'll see if the Clippers can make it 3 in a row. And then on the NHL side, it's game 1 in Winnipeg against Montreal, and Colorado, Vegas. Game 2, will Vegas be able to even up the series? Corbet's Corner here on a Wednesday. We'll get you an episode of Core Trades before the end of the week. Hopefully the rally for AMC continues. My God, it has been absolutely incredible. And then we'll also have our special edition of Winging It here, Memorial Day week, the week after. So I'll be coming to you here on a Thursday. All right, CorbettSports.com. That's the place to go. Keep it locked there. We'll talk to you tomorrow.